Tossed my fucking sculpture without even fucking asking. Bitch. She really doesn't know why I hate her. Sad.
For some reason, in the script, you have an individual experience for the collection of parts. A group of individuals, they stumble around with uselessness and malconfusion that will be familiar to anyone who's ever shot in the life. Or show them the promise of way to survive and to eventually be reborn as within the artificial life. So that began their transformation from assimilation to destruction. Data, for his part, experiencing constant anger and losing for his cause. Spider does a good job of keeping two parts distinct, even under these circumstances. Little things like Data still not using contractions are still there. We'll later learn that what's going on is that there was this emotion shift ensuing at base for Data back in Brothers that Laura stole, and is now using it to give Data feeling of anger all the time. So much anger, in fact, you can almost qualify as being a member of the Picard family. With this and with the activation of the medical program, Data has fully embraced Moore's dream of artificial life extinguishing biological life. That'll be a blotch on the old resume. So if you have any justification for betraying your fellow officers while plotting galactic genocide, I was really mad at the time. Well, I don't see why. Oh, you were under Council Troy. Oh, well, no further explanation is needed. Meanwhile, Crusher's trying to get the Enterprise to join the search despite interference, which is where we see kind of the flaw in this little rescue plan, as we have the current tactical officer is one Kate, a blue shirt 6 weeks out of the academy. I realize it's a skeleton crew, but I figured it'd be a crew that made sense. Try to focus the scanner on the command post to calibrate. Okay, alright, I've locked it down in that was the photon torpedo, but is there like a reset switch or something here? Who knows what we've got elsewhere? Probably Cable in charge of engineering or some pocket engineering counselor. I'm smart. I know depression causes. You are ugly and fat, so no one likes you. Stop that and people will like you. Stop crying. Drink fruit juice. It makes us go. Well, wouldn't you know it? More shit starts coming. So with the janitor at the helm, Potato Tactical, they prepare for their attack, trying to beam people up before they have to raise the shields. Now, I've been poke fun from time to time about little comics over the years, because poking fun is a significant part of what I do. As a viewer, I really don't give a shit whether Riker's quarters are on deck 8 or not. I don't care if the FX guys accidentally have the torpedo to fire a phaser. You should try to keep an eye on the details, but mistakes will happen from time to time. But once you have something, an important part of your story, you should kind of remember it. In this episode, part of the plot is driven by the fact that you cannot beam through shields, and it's likewise an essential plot point on many occasions. So stop beaming through the shield! And for everyone in Relics who said, oh no, you can beam through the shields if you can give them the frequency, how the hell do they not know the frequency of their own ship? Oh. I swore that the reason Geordi wears a visor is because if he didn't, sometimes the writers would forget he's supposed to be blind.
Except the frequency shift firing pattern and return fire. Right.
Oh, God. Why don't you just ask her to fly in and blow up the Death Star while you're at it? This whole thing reminds me of those pretzel commercials Jason Alexander used to do years ago. You with the pretzels, stand that tactical display. So 47 people still trapped on the planet, Enterprise hauls ass out of there. Barnaby finally comes up to relieve Kate. He's at least reassigned a science officer, a blue shirt job. I'm surprised the drop in rank for science officer goes from Data and some girl who 7 weeks ago was at Starfleet Academy trying to avoid a ruby in her drink. Elsewhere, Data and some Borg bring Picard, Geordi, and Troy into a holding area and cripple them by taking their comm badges. Their attempt to get through them fails.
Data, just because you haven't experienced certain emotions doesn't mean you don't exist.
nor his own feelings negatively. Counselor Troy himself told me that feelings are not negative or positive. It is how we act on them that makes them good or bad. Wow, nice one, Troy. Hard to admit that things were better when you just told them blindly obvious. At least you weren't actively creating sociopaths. Now, the question that might be raised is whether or not data should be acting this way just from anger and no ethical program. Well, that's up to interpretation, but for me, after you've seen data get screwed 6 ways from Sunday over the years, if data's getting pumped full of anger and showing all that, it shouldn't be understandable. I am not your puppet anymore. Still, he's been in school, swiping Jordy's eyes to believe him to stumble around in the dark. And maybe decides to play a trick on him by imitating Picard's voice, knowing that he can't really see him. Display towards the physically challenged and that wheelchair scene in The Big Lebowski. This is part of their master plan. For Lore's experiments, he tested on Data's old friend to perfect him for the board, for else they might suffer brain damage. God was that concerned, given this running with quantity of board here. Maybe she'll loosen that bolt on the side of his skull there. During all this, Worf and Riker are engaged in Operation Accomplish Nothing. They scurry about trying to find the missing team, eventually managing to get trapped by the board. Luckily, these board work for Hugh, who is much more articulate than before, and a lot more pissed off.
And you made it possible for Lord to dominate us.
Well, to be fair, I think the imp outfit went a long way towards making that happen. They explain everything in detail to Riker, including showing what happens to Lore's failed experiments, and why this group seems to be working against him. But that doesn't mean they're not a bunch of pussies, so as Riker and Worf discuss options for getting inside and mounting a rescue, Hugh insists that he and his band have to keep quiet and let Lore continue to dominate them in that naughty way of his. Above, Troy and Picard work on an escape plan, picking up orders that are coming inside, and the yank of just one tube is all it takes to kill them. Wow, so you could resist phasers all day, buddy, but get snagged on a nail and it hurts for you. Picard gives Troy the weapon and tells you to guard the corridor. And that goes as well as any other charge. Anger and homicidal joy things happen. Maybe you should go back to that third thing for a little while. Already extended his 6-25 to connect on another home run. The Originals got 23rd of the year, won 5 innings, 6 runs, but just 2 earned for 8 wins, 6-4. Out of the Milwaukee, a great series between the Cardinals and the Brewers. Big afternoon for Casey McGee. 1 on and 2 out. Brewers get 2-run home run, first multi-home run game of his career. That was his second, and this was his third. Have a day, Casey. Wow. 10-5 the final in Milwaukee, and it's the Brewers win that. That's a solid tie-in right there. Got the entire thing. Phillies and Rockies now. Philadelphia looking for the sweep down to 6. Chase up on first, and Ryan Howard working for Paul on the last.